In a quiet colony of Jabalpur city, Madhya Pradesh, a simple family living in the railway quarters suddenly fell silent. A lock was hanging on the door. Neighbors were shocked. And inside was a scene that shook the entire city. In the kitchen lay the blood-soaked body of the father. But the children, Kavya and Tanishk, were nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, Kavya's last voice message came to light. "Muskan, come quickly. Papa and Tanishk have been killed by Mukul. Papa and Tanishk have been killed by Mukul." Who is this Mukul? Where were the two children? And what had happened inside those four walls of the house? This is the true story of the Kavya Mukul case. The incident begins in Jabalpur, one of the major cities of Madhya Pradesh. Within the Civil Lines police station area is the Railway Millennium Colony. Most of the families living here are railway employees. Among the government quarters, in flat RB 3rd Bath 364, lived a small family. The head of the house, Rajkumar Vishwakarma, was an office superintendent in the railway department. He lived with his 16-year-old daughter Kavya Vishwakarma and his 8-year-old son Tanishk Vishwakarma. But the children's mother and Rajkumar's wife, Aarti Vishwakarma, was no longer alive. In May 2023, during a family trip in Katra, Jammu, she suddenly suffered a heart attack and passed away. Since then, the atmosphere of the family completely changed. The loss of the mother broke not just the children, but also the father. Rajkumar would leave for duty every morning around 9 or 10 and return home in the evening around 6. Until then, the children stayed alone at home after school, worried that loneliness and the absence of their mother would further break them. He sent them to their native village Pipriya, district Narmadapuram. There, they lived in a joint family: grandparents, uncles, aunts, and cousins. Rajkumar would often travel back to Jabalpur, sometimes bringing the children along for tests or schoolwork. In February 2024, exams were about to begin. Kavya had her class 10 board exams, while Tanishk was in class 4. On the 13th of March, Kavya's board exams ended, and on the 16th of March, Tanishk's exams too. After that, on the 17th of March, both children went back to Pipriya. Rajkumar had also applied for a transfer there. Everyone thought the family was slowly recovering from the grief of losing the mother. But in reality, their lives were moving toward an even darker tragedy. On Friday, the 15th of March, 2024, around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, a relative arrived at Rajkumar's house. They saw the main door locked. They called out, but there was no response. Neighbors said they hadn't seen Rajkumar or the children since morning. The relative called Rajkumar's brother in Pipriya to express concern. At the same time, one of Kavya's cousins in Pipriya checked her phone. Just hours earlier, she had received a WhatsApp voice message from Kavya. It was Kavya's voice. "Muskan, come quickly to Jabalpur. Papa and Tanishk have been killed by Mukul." Everyone was shocked. A family acquaintance was sent immediately to Jabalpur, while the relatives already at the house informed the police. Soon, Civil Lines Police and Railway Police arrived at the spot. In everyone's presence, the lock was broken. When they entered, what they saw shook them to the core. Blood stains were splattered on the walls and floor. In the kitchen, the body of Rajkumar Vishwakarma lay, covered in blood and wrapped in plastic. But where were Kavya and Tanishk? Every room and every corner was searched. The children were nowhere. Rajkumar's body was found, but the children were missing. Then, one officer noticed the refrigerator near the kitchen. There were blood stains on its handle, as if someone had tried to hide something. The fridge was running when the door was opened. Inside lay Tanishk, wrapped in a blanket and plastic, lifeless. Both Rajkumar and Tanishq had severe head injuries, caused by some heavy object. The blows were so brutal that survival was impossible. The killer had cunningly tried to cover the wounds with cloth, so the blood wouldn't spread outside. Blood marks in the bathroom had been wiped away. In the kitchen, utensils were scattered, and even incense sticks had been lit to suppress the smell of blood and the bodies. Now the biggest question, where was Kavya? Her name had surfaced in her own voice message. Papa and Tanishq have been killed by Mukul. Papa and Tanishq have been killed by Mukul. Was Kavya also murdered? Or was she the key to this mystery? The police immediately formed 4 teams. One focused on the post-mortem of the bodies. Another checked the CCTV footage of the colony. And there, something crucial appeared. On the 15th of March, around 12:30 in the afternoon, CCTV showed Mukul Singh leaving the colony gate on his scooter. He was carrying something in his hand but was alone. Moments later, Kavya too was seen leaving the colony, on foot, carrying a mobile phone. But her own mobile was found inside the house. So whose phone was it? Investigation revealed it was her late mother's missing phone. CCTV also showed that both had left separately, but later were spotted together at Madan Mahal railway station. Mukul parked the scooter, and both entered the station together. It looked as if they were about to board a train and escape. But another CCTV footage changed the story. They had entered from platform number 1, but exited from platform number 4 just 2 minutes later. Why did they do this? Was it a trick to mislead the police? After that, the two were seen at a bus stop. They boarded a bus named Krishnakunj. The bus driver and conductor confirmed to the police. Yes, both of them boarded this bus. Now it was clear to the police. Kavya was alive and Mukul had taken her away. But the question remained, was she with him of her own free will? Or was she under pressure, blackmail, or fear? When the police checked bus station records, they found that Kavya and Mukul had purchased tickets to a nearby destination. But as soon as the bus reached Adhratal, both made an excuse of buying medicine and got down there. Immediately, police teams reached Adhratal and started checking the CCTV cameras of the area. The driver and conductor were interrogated. That's when a clue surfaced that both had boarded another bus heading towards Katni. They had bought tickets up to Katni, but midway, at a place called Sihora, they got off again. Police immediately reached Sihora. Upon questioning and checking the footage, they discovered a third bus in which Mukul and Kavya once again headed toward Katni. In other words, instead of going directly from Jabalpur to Katni, Mukul made them switch buses 3 times. The question was, why did he do this? After reaching Katni, both of them got down at a spot where there were neither cameras nor crowds. From there, the police trail ended. Kavya had taken her mother's mobile phone with her, but it was switched off. Mukul too had taken a new number, but his phone was also switched off. Tracing their location became nearly impossible. Still, police put all their phone numbers under surveillance and began monitoring their bank accounts. Kavya had also taken her father's ATM card. Meanwhile, police raided Mukul's house. Only his elder brother and father, R.P. Singh, were found there. His mother and sister had already gone to their grandmother's house in Agra on the 22nd of February. R.P. Singh originally belonged to Mathura. Out of suspicion, police alerted the forces in Agra, Mathura, Ayodhya, and Varanasi, fearing that Mukul might take Kavya there. Now let's take a look at Mukul's background. Somehow, he had managed to study up to class 12, but he had no interest in academics. He spent most of his time at the gym, obsessed with bodybuilding and modeling. He was active on social media, constantly uploading his gym photos. His father sent him to Vishakhapatnam for further studies, but Mukul dropped out and returned to Jabalpur without informing anyone. Meanwhile, police were also scanning the CCTV footage of the colony. In the footage from 3 o'clock in the morning on the 15th of March, Mukul was seen going towards Kavya's house from behind, carrying a bag, gloves, and some strange equipment. Investigation of the back door revealed that he had tried to cut through the latch and lock using a gas torch. This meant Mukul had forcibly entered. But then, another question arose. If Kavya had willingly let him in, why didn't she just open the door? Why was there need for a gas torch? Neighbors and the watchman reported that on the morning of the 15th of March, around 7:30 in the morning, they had heard Kavya scream, calling out for her father. Everyone rushed, but the scream came only once. They thought perhaps Kavya had been frightened or maybe had a nightmare. That very day, even the milkman mentioned that usually Rajkumar collected the milk. But that day, Kavya herself came to take it. After her mother's death, Rajkumar was the one who took full care of the children, preparing their breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Gradually, the picture became clearer for the police. The murders had occurred between 7:30 and 8 o'clock in the morning. But the most shocking fact was that even after the murders, Mukul and Kavya stayed in the house for several more hours. They even made breakfast, drank milk, and finally left the house around 12:40 in the afternoon. Before leaving, Kavya sent her cousin Muskan that voice message, which turned out to be the biggest clue in the case. When Mukul had come out of jail the first time, he was no longer the Sam boy. After the Poxo case, his temperament had become even more irritable, angry, and aggressive. He had stopped talking even to the children of the colony. His new friends were some boys from outside, whose behavior often made the locals uncomfortable. So much so that neighbors openly told Mukul's parents to discipline their son, otherwise trouble would come. After being released from jail, Mukul developed a new obsession: crime thriller movies, especially Tamil, Telugu, and Malayalam films dubbed into Hindi. Police suspected that he might have gotten the idea of murder and escaped from these very films. During the search of his room, police found several clues confirming that Mukul had indeed picked up techniques of evading the police from those movies. Not only had he planned his escape, but he had also packed his certificates and important documents as if preparing to start a new life somewhere else. Kavya too had taken her father's ATM card with her. Police didn't freeze it, hoping to trace their location through transactions. On the 17th of March, suddenly Kavya's phone was switched on. That very day, about 1 lakh rupees was withdrawn from the ATM. The very next morning, on the 18th of March, their location was traced to Pune. A police team immediately set off. But by the time they reached, both had vanished. CCTV footage revealed that Mukul and Kavya were now heading towards Vishakhapatnam. From here began a cat-and-mouse chase. 8 police teams were behind them. Police forces across the country were on alert. Their posters were pasted everywhere, and their pictures had gone viral on social media. But both were traveling extremely cleverly, sometimes by bus, sometimes by train, and even by airplane. At one point, their location even pinged near the Nepal and Bangladesh borders, alarming national security agencies. For 2 whole months, they kept evading the police. Their movement records showed that they had traveled through Katni, Indore, Pune, Kalburagi, Osa, Kolkata, and even reached Haridwar. Then came the 20th of May, 2024. It was night time. In the compound of a government hospital in Haridwar, a female police officer noticed a boy and girl sleeping on a bench. When she went closer, she was stunned. These were the very faces that had been searched for across the country for the past 2 months. The boy first tried to avoid telling his name and said he was going to bring the luggage. But as soon as he left, he never returned. The girl was left alone. During questioning, she revealed her name, Kavya Vishwakarma. She was immediately taken into custody by Haridwar police, and Jabalpur police were informed. On the 29th of May, Kavya was brought back to Jabalpur. That's when the real truth came out, that this was all a pre-planned conspiracy. Kavya and Mukul together had plotted this horrifying act against her own father. By the time neighbors and people knocked on the door for help, it was already too late. Raj Kumar had taken his last breaths. But he wasn't the only one in the house. The younger son, Tanishq, had also woken up from sleep. He had seen everything with his own eyes, and perhaps that's why he too became a victim of Mukul and Kavya's conspiracy. After the murders, both of them cleaned the entire house. They carefully placed Tanishq's body in the room. They washed themselves in the bathroom and started erasing evidence. Mukul damaged the back door with a gas cutter to make it look as if someone had broken in. That voice message of Kavya, in which she mentioned Mukul's name, was actually a part of the plan. Mukul had told her, "I'll take all the blame so that no one suspects you." After doing all this, both of them cooked breakfast, ate food, and stayed in the house as if nothing had happened. Finally, in the middle of the night between the 30th and the 31st of May, Mukul himself walked into the Civil Lines police station in Jabalpur. The police had not managed to catch him. Instead, out of fear and betrayal, he surrendered on his own. On the 1st of June, when police took both of them for crime recreation, even more shocking revelations came to light. Mukul and Kavya had already planned to chop Raj Kumar's body into pieces. For this, they had even ordered two choppers. But after the murder, when they saw the blood-soaked condition, their courage gave way and they left the body as it was. The game that Mukul and Kavya had thought would go on longer could not last. Police speed, CCTV footage, and tracking finally caught up with them. After surrendering, Mukul confessed everything during interrogation: how he carried out the entire incident, how they tried to erase the evidence, and how Kavya had planned everything with him. Medical and forensic reports also confirmed that the violent incident had taken place inside the house. Blood stains, bathroom marks, and cleaning attempts were all proof of the effort to hide evidence. When Kavya was taken into custody, her mobile data and chats made it clear that she was constantly in touch with Mukul. Together, they had planned to leave the house. A charge sheet was filed in court. Mukul faced trial under serious charges, while Kavya was accused of conspiracy and aiding the crime. The case drew nationwide attention because it involved relationships, family pressure, and a dangerous sense of revenge. During the trial, witnesses, evidence, and CCTV footage were presented. Gradually, the truth emerged that this was not just an ordinary relationship, but obsession and anger had turned it into something extremely dangerous. In June 2025, police in their final report clearly stated, behind the deaths of Rajkumar and Tanishq was the plan of Mukul and Kavya. Both had premeditated the act and after the murders, kept roaming across the country. But eventually, they could not escape the hands of the law. When relationships cross all limits, they don't just break trust, they also destroy lives. What do you think? Was this merely madness in the name of love, or a carefully thought-out trap?